好，欢迎收看今天的对话好莱坞，我是 Lily。那么今天呢，我们的节目非常有幸的请到了 Dean Altit。Hello, Dean. So nice to meet you today. I'm so glad to have you. 那我身边的 Dean 呢，我相信大家都看过皇家赌场007的007的皇家大战赌场，还有达芬奇密码。那么我身边的 Dean 呢，就是这2部电影，包括其实很多好莱坞大片的制片人。他同时呢也是索尼高管。那我们今天非常有幸的请到他，也集合了很多观众们非常想知道的问题，在这里呢 Lily 帮大家一一做出解答。Hi Dan.
Hello.
So we both know that you have worked on a lot of like big production movies and they're very famous, very successful. So as a producer, what made you to step in this film industry?
Well, I actually started my career as an editor. I worked on many movie trailers in the beginning. That's how I started. And every studio hired a different trailer house to produce their trailers. And I've done that for probably 3 or 4 different years. And then I was hired by Sony to lead the trailer process and all the marketing aspect of the movie. And I worked my way up, basically. I got promoted and promoted and promoted until I got to finally do what I want to do. I think that's it's a big undertake when you decide to be a producer. So you can't just wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be a producer.
Exactly.
You need to learn the entire process and see the whole process physically to understand how complex and intense and the load of responsibilities that you have.
Exactly.
I think that people, when they think about producers, they see us on the red carpet and they think, oh, they're having so much fun, it's so glamorous, you know. But before we get to the red carpet, we have years of struggling and fighting and putting the movie together.
Yes.
But yeah, so I started in the editing room, and then that's basically groomed me and prepared me to the position that I'm finally doing, and I'm very happy doing.
You know what? I'm going to say you're a very smart guy. I'm saying this
Thank you.
because you're a producer, because there's a lot of producers.
Right.
But to work your way out as an editor, from that stage until this stage, I'm not saying which one is higher, which one is lower, but it's definitely you're like learning something on the way to pick up informations and also figuring out what you want to do and how you want to do it. It's like very 2 different things, but you worked your way out.
Yeah, I think it's for me it actually helped a lot, because when I'm on the set now and I'm shooting a movie, I know from my editing background what are we going to need. So I oftentimes tell the director, hold this shot a little bit longer. He's like, what do you mean? Why? I'm like, please hold it. You're going to see.
I know.
And then we sit later in the editing room, he looks at me and he said, good call. Now I understand why you wanted me to hold the camera on talent for 3 more seconds, but sometime in the editing world, 3 seconds could really make the scene look so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, having a post-production background, it's very, very important, because you know, when you're a producer, oftentimes the director tells you, oh, we can fix it in post, oh, we can do this or we can do that. But that could be costly.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, and you're a producer that doesn't have any post-production experience, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're out $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to fix the problem that you could have done on set had you knew that that's not going to work later.
So you had a sense about how to make this work in the easier way,
right?
And also saving money and saving people's time.
Yes.
That's really important.
Yeah, it's really helping me.
Exactly. That's why people say when you want to go higher, you have to work at the lowest.
You have to start at the bottom.
To learn everything.
You have to. There is no way, and you don't want to be in that high-level position that has all the responsibility of the world. You know, because a producer is responsible from day one. You get the book or the script that you want to produce. You have to find the money. You have to hire the director. You have to hire the talent. You have to see through the entire process, bring it on budget, on time, make sure that you sell the movie correctly and make money. Otherwise, if you don't, it's probably going to be the last movie you're making.
You're going to scare all the people who wants to be producers and watching the show, because there's so many things that they need to learn and they need to handle.
But there is, I mean, I think that as long as you're prepared and you know what you're going to, there is a way to do this thing. Obviously, we are doing it. And I don't think that I'm any smarter than any other people out there. It's just a matter of don't put yourself in a position where you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're not ready for this credit, don't take it yet. You know, just work a little bit longer and a few more movies, groom yourself, and then you're going to be ready to do it on your own.
Yeah. So during the way doing producing and in the film industry, which part fascinates you the most?
You know, it's really interesting. It's an interesting question because I think that throughout the movie making process, there are so many fascinating elements. But for me, from the day when I read the script for the first time and I decide to make a movie, to the day where I'm sitting on the set and I'm watching the monitors and I see those characters come alive, that makes me very, very proud and very happy because you find a script or a story, you cultivate it and work on it for a couple of years before you see it in front of you on the screen. That's a very, very gratifying feeling that I'm proud of being part of. But having said that, you know, I mean, the directors have their own magical elements that they bring to the table. Production designers, you know, stunt teams. I mean, those are all people who we cannot make a movie without these people. It's really a creative team that walk you through the process, and I think that every stage have fascinating element to it. So I love everything.
Yeah, so basically you enjoy everything that's happening, like...
Yeah, I do, because, you know, it has a magical aspiration for every moment. From the moment where we sit with the casting director and she starts sending us the actors, and you start seeing your characters basically stepping out of the page, becoming alive, you know, and you're like, definitely, that's the character. That's exactly what we had in mind. So and then you have the wardrobe people putting the wardrobe on them, and the production designer bring you the props and the element and the design of the set. You're like, wow, this is really, really coming together nicely.
Happening,
yes. And that's a very happy moment.
So as we know, also the audience knows you worked on huge movies before, and still there's more coming up. But so far yet, can you share with us the most, you know, the funny things that happened on set, or things it's very unforgettable?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of those moments. But I will say one actress that I've worked with, which I'm not going to say her name because she's very famous, but we were shooting a movie, and then she likes to party, and then she ended up going to the hotel and basically, I think, drinking probably 4 different bottles of whatever.
So after party, after party.
After party and after party, and, you know, and nobody could find where she was. And we're like, okay, we are shooting in 3 hours, where is she? We end up finding her in the lobby couch, covered with pillows.
She covered herself?
Snoring like a dog, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, we're shooting in 3 hours, she's hangover, what do we do, what do we do?
Oh my God, now you make me dying to know who she is.
We pick her up, we take her to the doctor, they give her IV injection with vitamin and all the super vitamins, and she wake up. And, you know,
3 hours later.
3 hours later, she come to the set, and I'm looking at her. She's performing fantastically, and I'm like, how do they do that? I mean, for me, hangover will take 3 days. I would not move from my bed. She's there, smiling to the camera, look beautiful as ever.
She's doing her job.
She's doing her job, and I'm like, wow. I went later, I gave her a hug. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how you're doing it. She's like, I don't know either.
Wow. Is there like, I believe you have more funny stories happening on set or during your career. We want to know all about it. But I don't think we have enough time to talk everything. So I heard that you're also working with like Chinese film industry right now, especially like top filmmakers big directors, big producers. So how do you think about this experience to work with them?
Well, for me, it's a very interesting experience because I have been fascinated for years with Chinese cinema.
Yeah.
I love the cinematography, I love the colors, I love the people flying in the air and making it look seamless, and then I know how hard it could be, but I love Chinese cinema and I love other cultures. So I'm always, I always hope that one day I'll be able to do some things with Chinese people, because I think that they bring such a rich culture and storytelling that is sometimes refreshing, because we're not used to tell stories in that way in Hollywood. So this is an experience I'm really happy about and looking forward to be able to share more details about what it is we're doing. But I'm sure that you're going to know exactly what we're talking about once it's being announced. So.
Wow, so please let me know.
Oh yeah, you're going to know.
Yeah, because I know it's huge. Everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
So we know that right now in China, the film industry is growing really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day there's new TV shows, new movies coming out. And actually Chinese people are dying to, co-productioning movies with Western countries too.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard part is, how do we make Western people, or people who has the Western culture as background, to accepting like the Chinese culture-wise story? It's quite different.
Right. It's really interesting that you mentioned that, because through one of the projects that we're putting together right now, we are just at this juncture where we are trying to figure out how do we tell the story that is so Chinese and sometimes involved certain Chinese cultural element that Western worlds don't know.
Yeah.
So how do you get an audience to connect with certain topics that they are unfamiliar with? And how do you tell the story in a way where you're not stripping the Chinese audience completely with that culture in order to satisfy the Westerns? You need to find a way to tell a story where the Chinese audience will be happy and proud to see their roots and their culture being portrayed in movie, but in the same time do some sort of a balanced crossover that the Western audience will understand. I think that it takes time even for a Western filmmakers. When I left the studio, I started traveling to Asia a lot and consulting for different countries. And that was an eye-opening experience for me, because their approach is completely different from ours. They want to do certain things the way we do it, but it's not necessarily the best way to do it. So I think that when the Westerns arrive to Asia for the first time, they would probably try to stick to what they know, how to tell the stories in the West, and tell the Chinese, oh, you can't say this or you cannot do that, people would not understand or whatnot. I mean, for us, when we get to China, we also have a learning curve. We need to learn to accept and understand their way of storytelling, their values, their culture element that need to be part of the story. Instead of going and saying, yeah, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work telling the story this way. Just strip it out and we don't need it. That's a mistake.
So, yeah, basically,
both sides need to learn how to work together.
Yeah, and we need, both of us, we need time. We need time to
So, I mean, it takes time to be able, I mean, it's a completely different mentality, it's different culture, it's different way to react, it's different work dynamic.
Yes.
Everything is different. You know, you can be as enthusiastic as you want, but sometime when it comes to, there is different work ethics.
Yes.
So it's really, really different. You know, when you work on an American movie, it's so well organized. It's orchestrated like a military precision act. Other countries don't work this way, and I've shot in many different countries in the world, from Korea to Japan, and South Africa and whatnot. They all have their own style and way of doing things. Hollywood have a style of doing things, and I think that it's a very good system. It's a solid system that works, because you know, you need to be able to make sure that everybody's on the same page, all the effort are orchestrated together, and you need to continuously anticipate problems and have solutions as they happen. Yes. So going back to that working together, I think that whoever plan to work with any other country, they need to listen, learn, and accept their co-producers and the roots and the culture of where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Just going and trying to impose on people, oh, we are American and that's how we do it. That's going to be a wrong approach. It's not going to work.
You know what, I completely agree with you. Just like the movie that came out this year, early of this year.
I know which one you're going to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big budget movie, and I went to the screening before it came to the theater.
Right.
I thought it's quite good, because the costume, the production design, like everything that was holding or worked by Western people, it was perfect. Looks like Hollywood film, but it's a completely Chinese story.
Right.
So combined together, you know, Western people has their side to accept the movie, and we have our side to accept the movie. But the box office was not good. Was not very
well,
good.
I honestly think that when you look at big Chinese movies that did fantastically in Hollywood box office, they were presented as what they were. It was presented as a Chinese movie by Chinese actors, by Chinese talent, and people embraced that. In fact, they loved that. You know, The Curse of the Flowers, and just among many other movies that did fantastically well here in Hollywood. I think that Hollywood is, and America in general, probably the rest of the world as well, is resisting the fact that I did not think that the casting was a correct casting. I think that it was a massive mistake. You know, you could have done that story differently with different cast, and I think that the outcome would be different.
Okay. Yeah, I agree on you on that part about the cast.
Yeah.
One of the cast, I don't think it's even necessary for the movie. But anyway, the director, after the box office, he said he thinks this kind of, you know, progress is necessary for we to get to the stage that both Western countries and Chinese people happy with their co-production movies. So.
Right. Well, you know, I think that there are other reasons why those decisions were made the way they were made, which I'll gladly share it with you later off camera. But it just, sometimes things do not work, you know, and they get a big American star in order to secure American box office, but the American look at it and they go, wait, what? He's doing what? You know, I mean,
they don't understand.
This is a period piece. You're talking about a period that probably white people have never been to China before, you know, and they are the one that come to save the day. I think it's insulting. For me as a producer, I would have said, no, I don't think that we should do it this way. Let's figure out a different way how we can package it and still make it work.
You know, that's, your point is actually every Chinese audience point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm told that the movie performed well in China. That was the only territory that actually performed okay. I thought that the movie made like $150 million in China or something like that.
I don't quite remember the box office, but it wasn't as good as
the expectation. Right, yeah.
Well, so we talked good enough about Chinese American co-production movies. So let's talk about what are you doing right now? Like, are you having more projects going on?
Oh yeah.
Like, is there
Yeah.
anything you can share with us?
Well, I just finished a horror thriller movie in Thailand. We shot it in Thailand.
Oh my! I'm a huge fan of Thai horror film.
Okay, well then you're gonna be happy about this movie.
I'm not lying. I'm a huge fan about Thai horror films.
Oh yeah.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we just shot the movie. It's in post-production right now. It's going to be in theaters in Thailand. The release in theaters is October 5th.
This year.
Yes. Yeah, we did it quick. I mean, from the set, it went directly to post-production and releasing it. So it's going to open. The movie name is Realms.
Realms.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be in theaters in Thailand on October 5th. It's simultaneously going to open in Singapore, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia. I believe all have the same date of release. China, we're still working right now on finalizing a release for that. But that's a movie that shot entirely in Asia with American stars and Thai actors.
Yeah.
And
you were on set in Thailand too?
Oh yeah, I was there for 3 months. I just came back.
Wow.
I'm traveling again in 2 weeks. I'm going to be there again as we are putting together a few other projects. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing that. More.
Yeah. I have a really big studio movie that we will announce, I believe, probably in the next 4 weeks or so, that I'm doing with Kia and one of my producing partners, Barry Osborne. I have several movies that I'm doing with Barry. We've done, when I was at Sony, we did together The Water Horse.
Yeah.
And we just remained friends and decided to work together. That's been 10 years now that we are still, you know, talking about mentor. This is one of the guys who I admire in the business. He created and produced all Lord of the Rings movies, The Great Gatsby, The Matrix, Pete's Dragon. I mean, the guy has 4 Oscars.
He's everywhere.
So he was my mentor, actually. And he still, even though we're a producing partner now, he does help me a lot and teach me. So we have several projects going on together that, unfortunately, I cannot mention any one of them.
Okay, we respect that.
Yeah, but
we know, because the project is big, it's huge. That's why you have so many things that's confidential.
Right, I cannot just mention anything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything in the studio going to get upset at me. Why did you say this? Why did you say that? So.
But we know you're very busy and also keep working on producing those big, huge movies. And you know, there's a lot of people watching our show who's are dying to be a producer in America or in Hollywood. If you have to tell them, like, things in 3 words, like key words.
Don't do it. No. Just joking. What would I tell them? In 3 words, I think it's difficult to say in 3 words, but I think that what I would say is that don't put yourself in this position before that you're ready to be in this position. Try to be on set as many times as you can. Start as, you know, I had several assistants on the last movie that I've done right now that they want to be producers.
Yeah.
But they were running around and helping in every aspect. I would keep moving them from different departments, and they helped in different sets and different situations, and they see what it really takes to run a movie. Because I don't think that people really comprehend what a big machine it is when you have 150 people working on the set.
Yeah.
And you are, as a producer, responsible for each and every one of those people. You need to be ready for that.
It's a huge responsibility.
It's huge responsibility, it's liability, it's fiscal responsibility, it's economic responsibility, it's creative responsibility.
And you have to be very strong inside.
So if you are going to be a producer, I think find somebody to help you before you become a producer, because you need to learn how to become a producer. You don't wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to produce a movie today.
That's very practical. Today was a very good, I had a very good time to talk to you, to learn things like things you have experienced on set, things you have learned in so many years for doing producing. And I really appreciate today to have this chance to interview you. Thank you so much, Dean.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
So 再见。
再见。
欢迎收看今天的对话好莱坞。那我们下期同一时间，拜拜。